till the lights go down, 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 till the lights go down, down, down. I've been feeling alright, I've been taking.
What is going on, guys? Crypto Vibes here, also known as Crypto. I'm bringing you guys another video, and today I have my week 1 matchup in the CPC League going up against Professor Chipboard and his Bristol Bulus. So yeah, this is I believe in my UPC draft analysis video I had another, I talked about it, whereas I would have another league going on. I forgot to mention what it was, and that is the CPC D League. We got accepted through our application. I want to give a shout out to 681 Shadow for letting me into his league. So yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, I just hopping right into the games with this. Definitely a little sidetracked for a while. The draft was over a while ago, and I had my week 1 gameplay and whatnot. So I will have a post-com over this, and I believe most of the season I will probably do post-com and whatnot. But yeah, for this season there is 16 coaches overall. We ended up getting the 2nd overall pick, which I was very excited about personally. I usually don't really care where I get picked. Put in the draft, but as of recent, I've been getting very late picks and wheel picks, which is fine. But in this draft, we ended up getting the 2nd overall pick, and I was pretty excited about that. As things like Megaladios, Landers Incarnate, Mega Malwa were all allowed, so I definitely was looking towards one of those, as well as Celesteela. Megaladios and Celesteela were the two I was looking at, and Celesteela got pick number 1, so made my decision quite easy for me, and I decided to pick up Megaladios. But yeah, as far as the rest of my team goes, I'll just go ahead and go over my team real quick. I have Megaladios, Clefable, Infernape, Snorlax, Roserade, Gliscor, Bronzong, Pelipper, Kabutops, Electrode, and Murkrow, with my 2 Z captains being Infernape and Kabutops. As my opponent over here, Professor Chipboard, you can see, he has the capability to bring Mew, Buzzwole, Crocodile, Serperior, Rotom Heat, Primarina, Mega Aerodactyl, Munchlax, Seismitoad, Venomoth, Drompot, and Alolan Trio, with his Z captains being the Mew and the Venomoth. So as you can see, what he decided to bring is the Seismitoad, Venomoth, Mega Aerodactyl, Primarina, Serperior, and the Mew. Pretty much what I expected. I had like a pretty strong feeling that a Scarf Buzzwole could potentially come. Gives him something to outspeed my Megaladios, gives him something to potentially put a, I guess mainly for Megaladios, so I guess it wouldn't have been the greatest bring, I guess. So that was something I thought about, and as well as Crocodile was something that my team I brought is a little longer prep for, but I have things like Clefable and Crocodile, which are really good checks to that thing. So yeah, I didn't really see Crocodile coming to this game. But yeah, looking at his team, biggest threat for me is by far the Mew. I don't know if I mentioned this, the Z captains are Mew and Venomoth, but the Mew, any kind of setup Mew right here can be very devastating for my team, as I will talk about my team real quick, and then afterwards I will talk about the best ways of beating that Mew. So what we have here is a physically defensive Colbur Berry Bronzong to help me deal with the Mega Aerodactyl. It's basically all I want my Bronzong to be able to check this game. I want it to keep healthy for the Mega Aerodactyl, and that's really all I want it to do. It gets up rocks, it has Toxic, it has Gyro Ball, and it has Psychic. The reason for Psychic and Gyro, Gyro's for general stab. It kills Mega Aerodactyl even when no speed, and it's pretty nice for the general part of his team. And then the Psychic is there for the potential Buzzwole bring if he did want to bring that. It can do about 70%, and Gyro Ball does about 10. So that's kind of the reason I brought Psychic as well, because Bronzong is one of my better checks to Buzzwole. So if I'm able to just stay in on that thing and just attack it, then that's better than switching into it and taking a ton of damage potentially. Then what we brought is our Rocky MZ Kabutops with Liquidation, Stone Edge, Swords Dance, and Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is there for things like the Buzzwole, once again. It's also nice if I want to click Aerial Ace over something like Stone Edge or Z Stone Edge in a situation where I can just knock out Serperior. So that's always nice. And then Liquidation's there for other stab. I thought about Aqua Jet for a while because outside of rain, it would be nice to be able to check the Mega Aerodactyl with that still, as Aqua Jet would do quite a bit of damage to that thing. But really the only thing standing in the way of my Kabutops after setting up is the Seismitoad. So if I can figure out a way to potentially put that thing on a timer or even just beat it down with one of my Mons, that would be great. It really lets my Kabutops go in. But I do know that's going to be his rain response in general. It's probably going to be not Swift Swim, but Water Absorb, and then just a general way of dealing with my rain. Yeah. Then we have my Pelipper right here, which is obviously the Rain Sitter. It is mainly physically defensive with Wakan Berry. Wakan's nice to lure in a Thunder Punching Buzzwole because it's a very good check to Buzzwole. So like I said, I didn't want my Bronzong to take hits from it. Then my Pelipper can do a very good job of taking hits from it. As well as Pelipper is a very nice pivot into something like Seismitoad, whereas my Pelipper can potentially weaken that thing down with some Hurricanes and whatnot, as Seismitoad has no reliable recovery outside of like item-wise leftovers and berries and stuff. So it'd be very good to chip that thing down with some Pelipper if possible. So it's mainly there for rain support and whatnot. Then we have my Spadef and Snorlax, which I felt I was obligated to bring here, as he has a Primarina and a Drop Ball, which were both pretty big threats. I had a Drop Ball come in my mock, which was Specs. So I think it was actually Assault Vest, but I'm really worried of Choice Specs Drop Ball or Choice Specs Primarina. So I definitely was feeling the Spadef Snorlax here, but I'm also Rest Talk with Curse and Body Slam. If I can weaken the Mega Aerodactyl, or even if Mega Aerodactyl wants to be a switch into Snorlax, I can potentially Body Slam paralyze that thing, which lets things like my Roserade outspeed it, Mega Latios, even I believe Kabutops outside of rain, which is really, really solid. So yeah, that's his only resist to Body Slam as well. So Curse Talk's looking really good this game. Snorlax is definitely a potential win con, and my next mon kind of corresponds with Snorlax a little bit, being my Roserade with Energy Ball, Sludge Bomb, Hidden Power Flying, and Toxic Spikes. So Toxic Spikes are great. I really was like 50-50% on the Venomoth coming, so it does kind of suck that it's here, so it can't soak up my Toxic Spikes. But Hidden Power Flying is a pretty good lure for that thing if you want to use Venomoth to try to set up on my Roserade for some reason. I guess that would be very risky if in case I had him packing like Hidden Power Fire or something. Very usable. Not necessarily against his team, but I doubt he would set up with his Venomoth in front of Roserade. But Hidden Power Flying is also there to be able to OHKO the Buzzwole if he did bring it. You guys can probably tell I really expected Buzzwole to probably come to this game. Some sort of variant at least, but he ended up not bringing it. And then Sludge Bomb plus Energy Ball is very nice coverage for his team. Energy Ball smacks the Seismitoad as well as Primarina, as well as Sludge Bomb hits Primarina, hits the Serperior, and the Toxic Spikes are there as another way to potentially poison the Mew. So I want that thing toxic. I don't want it poisoned. I want obviously the 2T spikes to hit it, or I want to be able to toxic the Mew with my Bronzong. So if I put that thing on a timer, I'm feeling pretty good with my team otherwise, because Mew is looking like a pretty big threat here, whereas everything else on his team I feel like I can check pretty nicely. And then last but not least, I have my Mega Latios, which is 3 attacks Roost, rocking the Psychic, Ice Beam, and Energy Ball. Energy Ball is a really nice lure to potentially catch a Primarina that might want to pivot into my Mega Latios. As well as Ice Beam is very nice to hit things like the Mega Aerodactyl Superior right here, and Psychic helps me hit things like the Venomoth for big damage. Potential Calm on Mew can set up on my Mega Latios, so I did consider Toxic on my Mega Latios for a while, but overall I felt like T-Spikes from my Roserade and Toxic on my Bronzong can get the job done to potentially put that Mew on a timer. So that's the team. I can go ahead and just hop right into the game now. Go ahead and line this out real quick. But yeah, looking at the matchup, I went ahead and decided to just lead right with my Bronzong, and you're going to see right here, he decides to lead with his Mew, which right here I'm going to go right for the Toxic, and he's going to reveal the Taunt right away. So right after that turn, I was not feeling good. I was not feeling good about this because he could very well be Taunt set up still. He very well could be. I was hoping he was defensive after revealing that Taunt, so I could potentially still beat this thing easier and not worrying about sweeping my team. But that was not something I was going to be. That was not something I was really aware of. Taunt setup Mew. I was not really expecting that. So Mental Herb would have been very nice right there, but right here I am just going to pivot out into my Snorlax as he goes right for the Bulk Up. So this is definitely a threat nonetheless. He is going to taunt me right away, which is a fine play. I go right for the Body Slam. I guess fishing for Paras just wasn't really my best sequence of plays. As you can see, my team does not deal with setup Mew very nicely at all. I'm going to pivot right away into my Pelipper once again. And luckily for me, he is going to feel scared enough to pivot out. I guess fearing a Specs Pelipper in the rain or something. He's going to get that damage right there and reveal to him that I am not invested. Which is, you know, not good for me, because now he knows that his Mew can more than likely set up in front of my Pelipper. So far we've seen Bulk Up Taunt from the Mew, so that's something we got to keep in mind. He's probably Recovery and then one move at this point. We just got to figure out what that one move is. So Primarina comes in. I'm going to pivot right back onto my Snorlax as he goes for the Scald, and he does not burn me, which is solid because it doesn't force me to rest earlier than I would want to. Here I double out into my Kabutops, trying to catch his I believe I tried to catch his Mega Aerodactyl, which was I guess it made sense for him to yeah, it didn't really make sense for him to risk the Body Slam there. So yeah, he ends up toxicing me right here, which kind of sucks because my Kabutops is a nice offensive win con here, but I believe I fire off a either a Swords Dance or a double out again. I think I double out to my Rose Raid. Yeah, double out to my Rose Raid predicting a Seismitoad because I feel like that was a very easy switch in for him to make. And I think I go for the Toxic Spike right here. Yeah, I set up Toxic Spike on his Venomoth, and I think I stand and click Hidden Power Flying right here. No, I pivot out into my Snorlax once again as he goes Mega Arrow. Now he switches right back into the Venomoth to soak up the T-Spike as I go right back to Bronzong. And right here, things get very interesting. He reveals the Substitute, so I was thinking Sub Quiver Dance, maybe 2 attacks at this point, as I go right for the Toxic, and that obviously fails, so very unfortunate right there. I figured, oh yeah, I was expecting him to switch out on my Bronzong. I did not expect him to staying at all. I think I kept trying to catch the Mew, that's what it was. Yeah, I kept trying to catch the Mew with the Toxics, but I never could. So he gets a Quiver Dance up as I Gyro Ball right here, and I believe I Gyro once again on his Disable. So he has Sub-Disable Venomoth with Quiver Dance, so I believe he's Mono Bug Buzz, which is definitely pretty decent against the team I have. Being that he's Sub-Disable also means he can wall my Snorlax, being that I only have Body Slam, so that was a really good bring on his part. Credits to him for that. But luckily here I do have the Psychic that I prepped for the Buzzwole, so that is going to come in very clutch right here, as otherwise this thing could have potentially just 6-0'd me right here. So Psychic is definitely still going to break after the +1 Split F, and he is going to be forced out into his Seismitoad, which is great because any damage on this means that the Kabutops is going to be in a better spot to potentially win this game, as we both set up our rocks right here, which is definitely fair. And I believe I throw off a Toxic right here as he throws off a knockoff, gets rid of my Culver, which is definitely a little unfortunate, means that his Mega Aerodactyl's crunches are going to be a little bit scarier at this point. And I do need to keep my Bronzong as healthy as possible. So I throw off a Toxic here as I believe I pivot out now into my Rose Raid as he goes into Mega Arrow, takes the rocks. No, I actually throw off a Toxic because I really wanted to catch that Mew, and right there I wanted to double into my Rose Raid, but I figured he'd read that and go into his Mew. So I really wanted Toxic right there to try to catch the Mew coming in. So it does catch the Mega Arrow, and I am in with a favorable mod against it, so I am just going to fire off a Gyro Ball right here, as it really just hits everything that wants to potentially come in. And he's going to stand and crunch, so that does a lot of damage, but it also lets me just get rid of his Mega Arrow, so that is awesome. Bronzong is weakened, but it did its main job right there. Right here, I fully expect a taunt from the Mew, so I am going to pivot out into my Kabutops. And I believe I throw off the Rockium right here. Really did not I thought he'd maybe bulk up in my face, but he goes right into Seismitoad, so solid play by him, but the Toad is getting weakened and it is on a timer, so this is potentially good for my Kabutops long term, as I am going to pivot out now into my Mega Latios, being that I have stuff like Energy Ball and whatnot. He does put me on a timer right here with a Toxic, which is definitely unfortunate. Not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not good. As I click Energy Ball right here, it's very free. It hits the Primarina coming in, and it's also hit the Seismitoad. And I get 50% off, and we see leftovers right there, so it pretty much means I'm free to fire off another Energy Ball. There's really no reason for me to over predict, and this thing just stays in and kills me with a Moonblast. He definitely very well could pivot into something right here, but I just fire off the Energy Ball once again as he goes into his Mew, and that chews out very nicely. So the Mew is back in once again, so this is definitely scary, as this thing is not Toxic yet, and I don't have T-Spikes up. With the Venomoth around, it makes it very difficult to Toxic this thing, as he's going to be able to get back to full health. Primarina comes in once again as I click Hurricane on that. It does not quite pick up the kill, which very much sucks, and he gets confused on that, which definitely sucks for him. As I just pivot onto my Snorlax, and that just chews up the Moonblast very nicely. As I believe I double out here into my... Yeah, I believe I double out into my Rose Raid right here, trying to catch... Yeah, I didn't want to catch a Toxic from the Primarina. I didn't want to be forced to rest on a next turn I came in potentially. So I am going to be able to stand and just click the Sludge Bomb now, as we are at a 6-4 advantage at the moment, but the Mew is still alive and still well. So we've seen the Roost, Taunt, and Bulk Up so far, so this thing is just mono attacking. You just got to figure out what that move is at this point. And right here, I started Sludge Bombing. Here's why. I started Sludge Bombing. I got a little bit desperate for my for Sludge Bomb poisons. Obviously, it's not the same thing as getting fully Toxic or whatever, so the damage doesn't get doubled. But if I put this thing on a potential just a regular Toxic timer or Poison timer, then I can potentially bring in my Pelipper, Hurricane spam, potentially get Confusion on one of the turns, and on the turns he's forced to Roost, just click Hydro Pump in the rain and really just put a lot of pressure on this Mew and potentially beat it that way. Or get an SDF with my Kabutops in the rain and beat it with Liquidations or Stone Edges, considering he has a Seismitoad around still. So he sets up the Bulk Up right here as we get no poison on the first Sludge Bomb. I believe I stay in. No, I switch out into my Pelipper as we are max defense, so I should be able to chew up most attacks from this thing unless he's Thunder Punch. And he roosts right there, so he goes for the taunt, which is fine. I think I expect that, and I click Hydro Pump right there, and I miss, which is unfortunate. But I should have been clicking Hurricane right there, to be all honest with you. But the Hydro Pump, we can see that does 42%, which is a lot of damage. So if we were able to get the poison with our Roserade, 42% on top of the poison right there, I believe. Is it poison do 6 or 12 if we have a regular poison? I think it's just 6. I think. Alright, let's say it's 6. That does about 48. Every Hydro Pump plus the Toxic does 48. So that's pretty much meaning he's forced to roost on the second one. So if I'm sitting in spamming Hurricane against this thing, then I'm in a pretty strong position to potentially confuse it. Or can put it on, yeah, confuse it. But unfortunately, I was not able to Toxic at any point, so I'm just going to stay and click Hurricane. No confusion yet. I think I click Roost here on his expected Roost. No, I click U-turn right here. I want to set up my Rain again, so I get in my Roserade right here, as I think I stay in and pretty much sack off my Roserade to try to get a poison on this Mew. As he's not going to get poison right there, and he gets a Leech Life, so he reveals Leech Life, which I found pretty interesting. I have an Infernape and a Pelipper, which, you know, both take that very nicely. Infernape didn't exactly have the greatest matchup here, but, you know, Mew wasn't going to be doing much to it at all after it revealed that, so definitely an interesting bring, but I guess Mew's generally a threat to Infernape to begin with, so I guess that made sense. But no Sludge Bomb Poison here, and no Sludge Bomb Poison here. Definitely unfortunate. I needed a poison really big there, because then I could bring in my Pelipper again to potentially just spam the Hurricanes until I get confused, or until I get him confused and then click Hydro. But he is going to break through, and now that we know he's the Leech Life, we can stay in with a Pelipper and live hits pretty nicely. He roosted on that last turn, as I didn't roost myself, so maybe a misplay on my part, but I really expected him to taunt, as I believe I roost on this turn. Yeah, I roost on this turn as he roost, so I get a pretty nice amount of health back, and now I believe I click Hurricane to try to get this confusion. I think that was my 4th Hurricane, so still no confusion and still no poison on my Sludge Bombs yet, so definitely unfortunate, as it would have been nice to get one by now. But yeah, it's my own fault, because I did not prep the best. I felt like I did prep decently for the Mew, but he did very well not letting this thing get toxic, so good on him. As I U-turn out once again to reset my Rain so I can get my 100% accuracy Hurricanes to give me my best chance to confuse this thing. Right there, I go to my Bronzong, pivot right back into my Pelipper, expecting him to taunt, not let me Toxic him. So yeah, I got pretty much the free switch in. And now I believe I click the Hurricane. As you can see, Leech Life is going to be a 3 KO on me, considering I'm taunted as well. So yeah, he can click Leech Life once again. So this is basically my last chance to get the Hurricane confusion. And nope, not going to happen. So I think it was like 8-9 turns with the Hurricanes and Sludge Bombs combined with no poison or confusion. But like I said, that was definitely my own fault for not being able to get this thing toxic or T-Spikes up or something. But right here I go for Stone Edge. That definitely would not have killed with the boost. I would have had to have a crit at that point. Even then, I don't even think a crit killed this thing. So yeah, and that pretty much meant it was GG at this point once Pelipper went down. But yeah, overall good game. The chipboard, his Mew set was really nice. The taunt I did not expect, really threw me for a loop right there, as my Bronzong was not able to put the thing on a timer. Maybe the manual Toxic on my Mega Latios really could have came through here instead of running something like the Ice Beam. So maybe that was something that I misjudged right there, as I feel like this game would have been a lot closer. It turned out to be a 4-0, but yeah, like I said, I feel like it would have been a lot closer if I was able to put this Mew on a timer. Whereas the rest of his mons in the back were things like Superior, which at the time I had my Roserade alive. The Seismitoad, I still have my Roserade alive, and then the Venomoth would have probably been the biggest threat, but in all honesty, it was one attack Bug Buzz, I believe, so things like my Pelipper and yeah, things my Pelipper mainly would have been able to take hits from it. So yeah, that was my week 1 matchup, guys. I did make a couple transactions, which I will talk about right now. Basically, this kind of just ensured my theory on Psychic types being a problem for my team. Just the typing in general is just kind of annoying. So I ended up dropping my Pelipper Kabutops core and my Murkrow, and I ended up picking Bisharp, Swampert, and Dusknoir, with my new Z captains being Infernape, and then Dusknoir is now a Z captain. So I'm really happy with the Bisharp pickup. I've never used Bisharp before, so I'm really excited to use it there. It gives me dual steel types, which is kind of cool. but also gives me a very nice dark type now, a very good pursuit trapper, more priority than sucker punch, another stealth rocker, which is very cool, as well as now I have Swampert, so pretty big fan of Swampert as well. So yeah, that is the transactions we made. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you really would appreciate it. And I'll be back for next week as we take on Ace of Games. Definitely need to get revenge for him destroying me last time we played. So yeah, peace out, guys.